right, welcome back to another episode of The American Entrepreneur, where we interview entrepreneurs all over the world. As long as they're doing business in the United States, we want to hear their story. Maybe they went through something through their entire journey. They learned something they want to share with you guys. The guest we have today, his name is Sean Klongerbo, and he's an entrepreneur with Ambition Exclusive. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, when I reached out to you through Facebook, I'm seeing you doing the Facebook Lives. It looks like you are a motivational guru. You've been through some tough times in your life, and you have some stories to share. So jump right into it, man. What got you into the world of entrepreneurship? Who are you? And maybe something you've learned along the way.
Well, I guess it starts way back when, I wanted a dirt bike, and my dad said, well, if you got to save up the money.
What kind of dirt bike?
He said, I'll match you $1 for every $1 you earn. I'll match you $1. And so that was kind of like the first step.
What kind of dirt bike, by the way? I like dirt bikes.
Well, never ended up getting the dirt bike until, but it got the gears going, and so then middle school came around, and I knew that I started needing to have my own money for stuff, and so I started umpiring for the Little League. I started riding my bike 10 miles down to the country club and caddying. So sometimes I'd get one loop, sometimes I'd get two loops, and you keep up and you shut up, and sometimes they'll tip you more than the $50 that they're required to. So. I did that in middle school and stuff, and then I remember very vividly one day in my 10th grade marketing class, my teacher, Mr. Devney, told me, well, he told the whole class, he said, if you do what you love and you find a way to get paid for it, you'll never work a day in your life. And right then and there, I became an entrepreneur. I remember, snowplowing the driveway that night and thinking, hey, this ain't so bad. I like snowplowing. I like playing in the snow. I bet you I could make a business out of it. And so, I wrote together this business plan and presented it to the old man, like he was going to let me use his equipment. He was a little hesitant at first, he knew I was going to tear it up and, not pay for fuel and all this stuff, which he was right, but and ended up plowing, maybe 6 or 7 of the neighbors' driveways. And, it paid for the 1999 Grand Prix, Pontiac Grand Prix that I smashed into a telephone pole, So you know how it goes. There's always setbacks on the path to success. And then ended up joining the military when I was a senior in high school because I wanted to fly. And excuse me, one second. Let me get back with you. Sorry about that.
Thanks for your service, by the way. If you were in the military, thanks for your service, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was short-lived, so nothing crazy. I got a couple friends from back home. They were deployed, and they served much more substantially than I did. So I wanted to fly. That was my thing. My buddy Connor convinced me that I could join the National Guard. And let me get back with you one more second.
Is that your grandma?
So the military thing was not really my thing. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and so there was too much. The discipline was good for me, but there was too much. I don't want to call it structure, but I wasn't able to question things enough. I wasn't able to to have enough input. It was very just you got to do exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and so I ended up getting out of the military, and I got into water as a fuel source and studied that for a while. Finally figured out that I knew nothing about an internal combustion engine, and so I went to school for diesel technology.
Wow.
And went out to California for that. I finished the 10-month program in 7 months because, I'm really not much for formal education and, sitting in a box, listening to somebody talk. I was always asking questions that were outside the box. Why do they do it this way? Why do they do it that way? And the instructors kind of had a difficult time. Well, they did a really professional job of answering a lot of those questions, but I was always asking those questions. Well, why aren't they doing it different? Why isn't it better? Why is it this way? Why, And so I ended up finishing the course in 7 months because I was ready to just wrap up the whole schooling thing. And went back to my hometown in Duluth, Minnesota, and Yeah, I had a job lined up there. It was like a $40 an hour traveling diesel technician job with a computer, and it was like a factory technician job. It was a sweet deal. I was really excited for it, and they ended up signing a deal with Caterpillar. Caterpillar absorbed their service department, and that was pretty much that. They said, "Sorry, kid."
Wow.
So a year after chasing a job later, I'd been working at the ski resort and stuff, and the snow started melting, and my buddy Brady said, "Look, man, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no girlfriend, and you ain't got no kid. What are you still doing in Duluth?" And Duluth was former boomtown gone bust. We used to have the iron range up there in northern Minnesota, and we shipped a lot of iron ore out of the Twin Ports there out to Detroit and stuff like that. And so, there's a lot of residual energy left over there from the boomtown mentality, and it's just kind of a place where you can hire people for $3 or $4 an hour if you were legally allowed to. So,
wow.
I knew that the oil field was going on, and I packed up Grandpa's 1990 F-150 and hit the road, and went out to the oil field. Met a 25-year cat mechanic out there, and he had 25 years on me, and so we partnered up, and we started working together, and kind of got sick of the whole oil field thing, and I don't know why I left the oil field so many times. I should have just stuck it out, grinded it out, and stacked my money. But it's the same thing, of Duluth. It's a kind of a boomtown mentality. There's a lot of energies that are, it's stressful. It's just heavy. Like, you can feel the weight kind of just like come down on you as soon as you enter into the oil field. You can just feel the pressure, and the energy is just tense out there. So. I had a couple of tools and stuff, and we started turning wrenches together and, making money on the side. And we ended up driving down to Colorado together. And,
Jeez, you're all over the place.
All over the place, man. All over the place.
You're in Colorado, okay.
So, I worked in Colorado. We both worked in Colorado for a while. We ended up parting ways there for a little while after some disagreements and stuff. And so I went and did my own thing. I went up to Summit County, shoveled roofs up there for a guy that paid me real well. My entrepreneur spirit got me, the flat rate on the gig, so I could do 3 jobs in the time of 2. And so I did pretty good money out there, and ended up meeting back up with Ace, and we ended up saving up for a truck. Got that truck, and after the snow melted, we went back to the oil field, and when we got back to the oil field, we kind of parted ways again. I had more tools, I had more experience, and I had more ambition this time around. And so, I put in the time and the hours to pass out my business cards and market myself as a mobile mechanic. I had come up with the name Minutemen Mobile Repair because out in the oil field, the setback is, maybe a month or 2 months waiting time to get somebody's truck fixed. So, just marketed the fact that I was going to be available.
You were the diesel repair truck guy. You were the go-to guy in that area, in that niche, in that community.
Minutemen Mobile Repair, yep. So, ready at a moment's notice. You give me a call, and I'll be there, right now. And so I charged the going rate, which was at one time $140 an hour because, they didn't have any other option. It was either call me or take it to the shop and wait for a month or 2 months. So, I had a really good opportunity in front of me, and I didn't have all the tools that I needed. I didn't have all the experience that I needed, but I knew that, I had enough tools. I knew 2 things: that if I didn't have the tools, I could go down to the tool store and buy them. Number 2, if I didn't know how to do it, I could figure it out. And so those 2 things right there got me through. And, I put in some time, ended up taking the winter off again and went to Montana for the winter.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, I should have really just stuck it out and hammered down in the oil field while it was good. But, it's kind of like a balance. Like, I'm an entrepreneur because I like my time. I like to enjoy my time. And so I wasn't enjoying it. It just gets frustrating sometimes. And so, I ended up leaving Montana, coming back to the oil field again because I knew I was just missing out. And this time I hammered it down pretty good. And I ended up saving up and getting a 99 E450 ambulance. And I'd been saving up for it. When I found it, I was gonna try and borrow some money or find an investor or something like that, and told the guy, look, I'm gonna buy this thing, and I did the same thing with my other truck, my flatbed truck, and so driving in my old vehicle, I just visualized the new vehicle. I gave thanks for the feeling of having that vehicle, and gratuity is the most powerful emotion in the universe, and so you give thanks for something that you don't already have as if you already have it and you're going to get it.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
So, I gave thanks for the ambulance before I ever had it, and ended up having to put in a month and a half of just solid grinding, stacking cheddar. And about a month and a half later, I called the guy up and said, hey, man, I'm coming down to pick up the rig. And I went down there with my buddy Tyler. He gave me a ride down there. I dropped 50 Benjamins on the guy, and he handed me the title.
50 Benjamins.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
Yeah, man, it was a big stack of cash.
Nice. All right, so what year is this?
This was November of 2015. So This is just over a year ago.
Gotcha. All right, so you get this is like the vehicle you've been thinking about for so long.
Yep.
All right, now what do you do after that?
Well, I stuck it out in the oil field for the winter because this thing was a diesel 7.3 Power Stroke diesel engine, so I could idle, and so I could idle for 7 days on $60-$80 worth of fuel. So I had a little bed set up in the back. I had my flat screen TV, a mini fridge, a toaster oven. I was set up in this thing to live in it and work out of it. I had all my tools in the boxes. It was set up. I even went down to Walmart and bought myself a little $100 subwoofer and hooked up the subwoofer so I could bump out. And I got involved with kind of the wrong crew. I was miserable because I was working in the oil field. I don't believe in oil. I know that there's a better way. And, mechanicking, the only reason I ever went to diesel school in the first place was because I was into water as a fuel source. And so I knew that I didn't really want to be in the repair industry. I was just kind of miserable. And so I was, into alcohol and drugs and all sorts of stuff, and ended up getting robbed.
How old are you right now?
I'm 24.
24. So this is what, you're 22, 23 whenever this is all happening.
Yeah, 23, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I had just sold a trailer for a friend of mine who was down in Mexico, and so I had $2,500 cash on me. And 900 of that was mine because I had been borrowing him some money, and the other 1,600 was his. Well, because I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, they knew I had cash. They jumped me and robbed me, and it was one of those things. You're hanging out with the wrong crowd, it's bound to happen. So it did, and that one took me a long time to bounce back from. I had to pay him back all the money that I owed him. And it was difficult because he would always call me saying, hey, I'm broke, I need money. And, look, man, I know that I owe you money. Well, first of all, he, when I called him to tell him that I got robbed, he didn't believe me. He said, you're lying to me. And that's the hardest thing, is to tell somebody the truth when they think you're lying and you're telling them the truth. That's the most difficult thing I probably ever had to do in my life, but I made it right. I continued to pay him $100 at a time until I paid him off. And, he'd always call me and say, I'm broke, I need money. And finally one day I said, look, man, I know I owe you money, but it seems like every time you call me, you're broke and you need money. Maybe that's creating you're broke, you need more money. And he thought about it for a second. He goes, you're right. I said, look, man, even if you have to lie to yourself, tell yourself you got more than enough money. Tell yourself you got plenty of money and more coming. So he did. He had $20 on him, and he went out, and he's in Mexico and trying to get back into his house and stuff like that. Going through a divorce and stuff. And his ex-wife had a restraining order on him, so just going through hard times. And he had $20, and he went out and bought somebody a hot dog on the street of Mexico and just enjoyed the moment. And he told me ever since that day he's never wanted for anything. Just because I got plenty of money and more coming, and it's just that mindset. It's an attraction mindset. We're constantly in a state of attraction or repulsion. So we're either attracting what we're thinking about or we're repelling what we really want in our lives. So I've gone through both of those cycles. I've been in the attraction and the repulsion, and now I'm in the attraction mode. So
I believe in what you just said there, the attraction. I think you have to visualize that it's yours before it becomes yours. And if you think that things are happening for you rather than to you, you live in a different way. And I'm a big believer in understand the positive mindset and how things that no matter what comes your way, it's a good thing in the end. So you have to use that as a good thing.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's how I got both of those, those service truck upgrades, was giving thanks for, what I didn't already have. And, it was that emotion of gratuity and joy of having what, pretending, if you will, that I already have it, and giving thanks for that feeling, because it's what it comes down to is it's really the feeling. You can go and do stuff or whatever, but the reason we do anything is because we enjoy the feeling of it. So why does anybody become an entrepreneur? They enjoy the free feeling of being able to call their own shots, long story short.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing for me. I enjoy the feeling of being able to decide, what I can or cannot do on any given day. So
it's awesome. So how did you go from your diesel repair guy, you're doing all this stuff with the oil fields? How'd you get into the motivation and the ambition exclusive?
Well, right after I'd gotten I think it was like right around the time when I was saving up for the ambulance. I had, just gotten an iPhone, which is a big step for me, being able to.
Quick, ambulance. You're actually talking like a real ambulance.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was an ambulance. That was the rig that I had converted to my my service truck. So
that's fantastic. You still have it?
Still got it. Yep.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. So
I hope to take the laptop and the smartphone and the dog, and I've gotten into some trouble. I don't have my driver's license right now, which is got a lot to do with why I'm working online, and it's really nice to to be able to work without having to go anywhere. So. Okay. Yeah, when I get my driver's license back here, I hope to take the ambulance and go and tour with it. So
nice. Okay.
So
you got into when I started talking to you, I know that you're into either the Amazon, the eBays, also you're on Facebook Live motivating people. How did you jump right into that? And was it something that was always inside of you, or how did you realize a way to monetize it? I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I had been familiar with an individual from companies past. I was in a company called Vima, which has gone under some scrutiny over the last year. I was also in a company called Wake Up Now. I was in a company called Light Your Wireless. Never seen any real success with any of them because I didn't actually put in the time and energy in order to learn the skill and really apply it. And so.
Was it multi-level marketers? Is that what it was? Multi-level network marketing?
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
You know how those kind of go. Sometimes the training's there, sometimes it's not. Well, anyways, this individual that I had been familiar with over the years, I saw a video that he had put together about attraction marketing, Instagram mastery, and I watched some of his courses, and it was on YouTube, so it was free, and I was like, this kid's onto something, and I always kind of kept it in the back of my head. And, when I had that money, I should have gotten into it right then and there. I had no idea about paid traffic. I didn't have any idea how the online industry worked at all. And so, I hesitated for about 6 months. I went through this, experience of getting robbed. I started a painting company with my buddy Christian because he had told me that, what kind of money he was making painting houses. And, to paint houses, all we needed were some scrapers, some rollers, and a $250 spray gun. So we started a painting company together and did that for, a couple of months. And, after I had to go back out to the oil field to I had left a bunch of stuff out there and I had to wrap up some loose ends. So I went out there and, I was out there with my buddy Colton. We took the 1998 Volkswagen Jetta out there, lost a water pump on the way out. We were just overheating. No driver's license at the time, taking the back roads. I mean, it at this point in time, my life is like just I'm going at it, full blown, and everything seems to just be falling apart at the at the hinges, but I'm not quitting, I'm just gonna keep on going, and so get up to Williston and ended up going to jail again for taking Colton broke his shoulder and I had to take him down to the hospital. And so I was driving on a suspended license and got, pulled over and arrested. So I've been in and out of jail like more times than I can count, for nothing serious. Everything has always been petty. And,
Jeez.
So Colton broke his shoulder and then we had a fire and we lost the camper. We lost the Volkswagen, lost a whole bunch of tools. All I had was my truck, my cell phone, and my wallet. Didn't have any clothes, didn't have nothing. And so we went down to the Salvation Army and got some clothes, and they put us up in a hotel for a little while. And eventually, the kid was going around with the broken collarbone, and it wasn't just going to heal up. So we had to put him on a train and send him back home to Minnesota so he could go and get some surgery done. And then it was just me and the dog, and I was frustrated with the oil field, and I remembered this individual. That I'd known from past companies, and I said, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna give it a serious go because if this kid's working from his computer, working online and stuff, like that's what I need to be doing. I need to downgrade, the amount of tools that I need to do my trade. I need to increase the size of my marketplace because as a mobile mechanic, I had to have all my tools on me, and I needed, I could only work on stuff that was in my, my range. So. The internet, I always knew that the internet was where it was at. And, you and I are obviously on this video chat from hundreds and hundreds of miles away. And, I've been doing this a lot lately, having video chats with people, meeting incredible individuals all over the world. And so it's crazy, the tools that we carry around in our pockets and just take advantage of. But
the thing is, everybody has something to teach another person, no matter what industry you're in. You went through something that you can. I mean, even what you just told me about, attraction marketing. Obviously, I've looked into it, but there's some phrases that you're putting together, and I've never even heard that I'm going to use in my vocabulary. And that's the thing is, entrepreneurs have something to teach another person, and that's why we kind of like help each other. It's important for entrepreneurs to work with each other rather than work against each other, because the world itself is trying to push entrepreneurs down. Because it's difficult to rise above. If you come from nothing, who are you to say that you're better than somebody else to make it in this world? Well, entrepreneurs kind of have to lift each other up.
Definitely, and I noticed a huge change in my business when I quit focusing on trying to sell the products that I had, and I started focusing on building relationships. And so I noticed a huge change in just the satisfaction of doing what I'm doing. Just by developing relationships and building that. You always hear the term build rapport. Well, man, like, what does it mean if you don't understand what it means? Nothing. So building rapport never meant anything to me because I didn't understand what the concept was. The concept is simply just build a relationship with somebody, get to know each other, like people don't want to work for companies. They want to work with people. That's why Joe's working down at the bar right now, is because he likes the other bartenders. He likes the people the regulars. I mean, people don't care about companies; they care about people.
Well, that's the best way to put it. I used to work for a really big private company, and I would go to houses and sell them. It's basically home remodeling, I guess you could put it. And I would sell these people something that was maybe $30,000-$40,000 after meeting them in 3 hours. Now, my whole mentality and the way they set that up was basically just get in there, get the sale, and then leave, because you're not going to get another sale. So just don't build a relationship with them afterwards. And it's a bad life that I had, and it was something that I knew that whenever I focused on my own business, it was all about building relationships, because what you do today matters to you 5 years from now, hands down, if you build the right relationships.
Definitely. So you said something just a little while back about everybody has a message to share, and after we had the fire, we went down to the Salvation Army because we didn't have any clothes. Not like zero. We didn't have anything. And I had gone through because I'm a sucker for the book section at the you know, the Salvation Army.
Oh,
I think I showed you all the books that we found at the recycling center.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm a sucker for books, and everybody's like, you know, my mom and my grandma, they're all teasing me, you know, why are you getting all these books? You have the internet, dude. Hey, you know, you never know.
Books are bad.
You never know when they just shut everything off. You know, books will be the only thing that we have. But so I'd come across this book called Millionaire Messenger, and you know, it was all about the expert industry, and you know, it just blew my mind. Like, I was, you know, the marketing teacher that I mentioned earlier, you know, we had been in DECA competitions, which is an association of marketing students, and you know, went to these conventions and stuff. So I had a pretty good idea, you know, that there was like this entire culture of people who do conventions and business and all this stuff. And you know, when I started reading this book, it just blew my mind. I was like, you know, people are sharing whatever it is that they're good at, whatever they know about, and they're selling, you know, tickets for $5 or for $20 or whatever it is. And then at the end of the seminar, you know, you go ahead and, you know, you sell them a higher valued item or a course that you've put together or something. You know, it's like it's like what Tony Robbins does. You know, he sells a whole bunch of tickets to one of his, you know, what do you call them? A seminar?
Yeah, I mean, you can call it a, you know,
a retreat.
Retreat is probably the best way to put it, because he doesn't just do seminar. He gets together for 3 days, 4 days, 5, even a week long for these people. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't already, you know, for the viewers out there, if you haven't already seen I Am Not Your Guru, you need to check that one out.
Awesome, Netflix. Yeah, check it out on Netflix.
Definitely. So you know, I scored that book, Millionaire Messenger, and another book called The Greatest Salesman in the World by O.G. Mandino. And you know, if you haven't checked that one out,
I have not read that.
You can find it on YouTube.
That's a book you recommend then, right? Or is it a?
Oh, definitely recommend it. It's like a 10-month read though. So you read the first like 6 chapters, you know, as like a background, and then you get to this point where there's like 10 different scrolls, which, you know, each chapter. But you read each chapter 3 times a day for 30 days, and then you move on to the next chapter. So it's like you know, the first thing is habit, the second chapter is love, third chapter, you know, one of them is about laughing at the world. So it's just about, you know, how to, you know, deal with being an entrepreneur and a salesman. You know, because when it comes down to it, you know, everybody's a salesman whether they realize it or not.
For sure, hands down. You're selling yourself every day.
Oh yeah. Try and walk in and get a job. You know, if you don't know how to, you know, market your own skill set, good luck. You know.
Exactly.
So you know, I had those 2 books, Millionaire Messenger and the Greatest Salesman in the World. And,
I'm gonna check those out.
I was definitely check them out. I highly recommend both those 2 books. And I you know, I was in the oil field. I just had a fire. All I had was my phone, my wallet, you know, some of the clothes we got from the Salvation Army, a few books, and my truck. And I decided, you know, I wanted to go see my friend David. That was the plan from the get-go, was to, you know, take that money that I got robbed for and to go to, you know, to Mexico on vacation. And so, you know, I decided I wasn't going to let, you know, money keep me in the oil field. I had done that before, too. I'd said, you know, money is an obstacle, you know, like money is something that we have to overcome. You know, it's not something that we have to get. It's something that we have to overcome. So, I remembered one time I left the oil field with 0 money in my pocket, made it all the way back to the house just by the, you know, the opportunities and generosity of others. And so I said, you know, I can do that again. You know, I'd sell my truck and, you know, hitchhike to Mexico and go see David, you know, and that was my plan.
Wow.
So, drove the truck to Rapid City, South Dakota, had a blowout, you know, but it was still holding air. I just threw the tread off the tire and drove it another 90 miles with, you know, nothing but tread showing, got it to the scrapyard, managed to get an extra $20 out of the guy for the boxes that were on the back, because I didn't have a title for it. The title was lost in the fire, so that was, you know, why I couldn't sell it for face value. So scrapped it for $320. You know, I had my backpack and a duffel bag and the dog. I ended up giving the duffel bag and my tent and my sleeping bag away to a homeless man because I realized I was carrying way too many things, and hitchhiked to Mexico.
Wow. And, all right, so how did you start to get money from the internet? I love, because we just talked about it not too long ago. I learned how easy it is to make money on Amazon and eBay. So I'm a big believer. If anybody's out there watching, download the Amazon app, scan a couple books at the bookstore, especially lawyer books, nurse books. You're going to be able to buy them and sell them so fast on Amazon. I had a 3 hour, or what was it? Not a 3 hour, a 9 hour turnaround on a book that I made all my money back that I spent the one day. And this is just easy ways to make money. So how'd you start making some money there? I would love to, that's what the audience wants to hear.
Well, just like anybody else that ever got started online, I thought it was a one-click magical system. Oh, I found the thing that's going to set me free. Now all I have to do is, post some pictures on Instagram and throw my link in there, and people are going to click on it. So it was probably a good 3 or 4 months of, nothing. Just I didn't realize that, like, I was supposed to be putting in work. I thought it was just going to be magic.
Yeah, that's how people think it is. Right.
So, I'd come up with my brand before I ever got started, and
Ambition Exclusive,
knew
right?
Yep, Ambition Exclusive. You can check me out on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, at AmbexClu, AMBEXCLU. And so, I just figured it'd be magic. I didn't think that I actually had to, like, do anything. I just thought everything was just gonna happen. And so it took me a long time to realize, like, I gotta be putting in a lot more work. And I just had this smartphone, and I was hitchhiking across the country, so I had a lot of things on my mind. I really didn't have the time and energy to be doing the research that I knew I should be doing anyways. I didn't have a computer to be, doing some of the stuff that I could have been doing. So, I went down to Mexico, spent some time down there, and, decided that, I needed to, to have a change. I kind of get to the point where I get frustrated when I spend too much time anywhere. So, I decided I wanted to meet my buddy Colton back up there in Colorado. He had gotten his shoulder fixed. And he said, look, I'm at Standing Rock. I'm not going to meet you in Colorado. You can meet me at Standing Rock if you want. So I made it. I hitchhiked all the way back up to Standing Rock.
Amazing. What's hitchhiking like? That big a distance?
Well, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you keep your thumbs up, and it's just like entrepreneurship. You keep putting one foot in front of the other. You stay positive, and eventually somebody's going to come around that has better means to get you where you're going than you do.
Oh, I like that phrase. That's a good way to put it. Hitchhiking is like entrepreneurship. You should write a book, man. That should be it.
Hey, man, I'm going to sell millions of copies, but the story's not done yet, so.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
Still living the book.
Nice. All right, so one thing that you would be able to tell anybody out there watching, one lesson that you've learned, is it to never give up? Is it something along the lines of, luck and timing have a big factor in it? Is it basically use your skills? What is one thing that you would
Well, I definitely don't believe in luck and timing. I think that, those are kind of, if you get luck and timing, good for you, But I would just say don't be afraid to fail. Like, I don't believe in failure. I believe in mistakes and lessons learned. And so if you're not learning from your mistakes, then you're not growing and you're going to continue to fail. So if you want to be successful, just don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because anybody who ever got anywhere has made plenty of mistakes and has failed more times than you can count. So it's, just like water on a duck's back. You just got to, let it roll off. Learn from your experience that you're having as far as, getting told no, getting shut down, getting hung up on. It's not going to be easy, but, if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep your thumbs up, somebody's going to come along that has better means to get you where you're going than you do. And
that's awesome.
So yeah, that's my advice. Don't be afraid to fail.
Alrighty, and the last question I have for you, and I ask all the guests now, if I talk about your dream obituary. As you see the shirt, it says my obituary will be a bestseller. Okay?
Yeah, I like that one.
All right, so I talk about, writing your dream obituary, because you think about that and then you reverse engineer back to where you are right now. And are you on that right path or not? Because if you're not, you basically have to make some decisions. So my question to you is, Sean Klongerbo is going to be remembered as, go.
Oh man, you did not prepare me for that one.
No, that's what I wanted to be prepared to answer. You're going to be known
Well,
as, you're going to be remembered as what?
well, I'm gonna go Ricky Bobby on this one with modern advances in technology. I feel like I can live forever.
Live forever.
No, to be serious, I just I enjoy helping people. I think that entrepreneurship is going to save the world. I think that this country was founded by entrepreneurs.
Hands down. No
No,
doubt.
100 years ago, 95% of people were working for themselves, and now it's exactly the opposite. 95% of people work for somebody else, and I think that's, to cut to the chase, I think that's what's wrong with America right now. Oh, by the way, I caught a ride in Elvis Presley's Rolls Royce somewhere south of Rapid City when I was hitchhiking, and Elvis Presley's Rolls Royce was actually the main character in their documentary of what went wrong with America.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a good experience there. But I mean, that's the heart of it. I think, with these computers that we carry around in our pockets, it's never been easier to shoot a video, edit it, upload it to YouTube, document whatever it is you're going through, write a blog. Like if you wanted to, write in the past, you had to have a notepad and a pen. You had to get that approved by somebody, send it into the editorial.
Right.
Whatever it was, if you wanted to be a photographer, you had to, have a huge setup and cameras and lights and stuff, like back before we had digital cameras, you had to have like a studio to develop your, like, it's just incredible how much equipment we carry around in these little devices that we just take advantage of. So, I guess, to get back to the question here, what would I want my obituary to, I don't know. I guess I want to leave this place better than I found it. I feel like I'm the only one that woke up in Wonderland and said, "What the heck is going on here?" How did we get here? What is going on?
We're all mad here. Yeah.
So yeah, I wanna leave it better than I found it. I feel like that's just kind of a obligation that I have.
I love it, man. And the best way for people to reach you and talk about it, Ambition Exclusive, ask you any questions about your journey. Maybe there's somebody out there who's going through the same thing that you went through. The best way to reach you, is it Instagram? Is it a website? What is the best way?
Well, I'm not real keen on Instagram and Twitter, and Facebook is the best way to get a hold of me. I use my personal profile right now because I'm really doing the whole organic thing. So, Facebook ads will be happy to take your money and they won't blink twice. So I'm really focused on doing the organic thing because I think that there's a lot of people to benefit, off of the experience that I'm going through right now. And I think I have a lot to teach people about the organic experience. So I'm just using my personal profile, Sean Klongerbo, SeanKlongerbo. And otherwise, you can hit me up on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, @AmbexClue. I use all of those channels to communicate. So, feel free to reach out to me however you want to reach out to me, and, we can figure a way to develop a stream of communication.
You got it, man. Thank you so much for going over your story, and I'm going to contact you afterwards anyway because, I love having people to reach out to and just bounce ideas off of and build that network up, you know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, I tried to do my story here just kind of as brief as I could, but if you really want to check out the full story, I did Facebook Live. On my personal wall, there's probably about 3 hours worth of viewing there. So
nice. Okay. So
I go into everything, the whole oil field experience. Getting involved in chemical dependency and hitchhiking to Mexico. I talk more about the trip to Mexico and all sorts of stuff. So if you're really interested in more about my story, you can check me out on Facebook Live on my profile. Reach out to me at AmbexClue, AmbexClu, and I love to meet new people. So.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you got a good heart and you actually are authentic about, wanting to tell your story, meeting people and sharing it with them so they can take and apply it to their own life. So thanks so much, man. And
all right, Mike.
I'll stay in touch with you after this. But guys, if you're out there and you're an entrepreneur, you have something to share with us, we want to hear it. The American entrepreneur will always create more. Take care, guys.